Las Vegas Discount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. Las Vegas Discount.net. Las Vegas Discount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit Las Vegas Discount.net.
FightNetRadio.com with Andrew and Lee, talking boxing, combat, sports, comedy, football, and everything kick-ass. All on FightNetRadio.com. Fight Net Radio!
Hola, soy Julio César Chávez.
And lights out, baby. Lights out all day.
This is Sugar Ray Leonard, and you listen to Fight Net Radio.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a one-hour television spectacular.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
We gon' know. I got eyes and ears everywhere. I got friends all over the world, man.
Who gives a shit with White? He's a piece of crap.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio bonus content. I never know what to call these things. I mean, I have Ringside with Raymundo. I have Betting Bookside with Bobby. I'm sure we should probably have a fantasy football offshoot show, but it is all under the Fight Net umbrella. I am joined by our resident bookie and all things sports related, Bobby Capucci. How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, hanging in there, Lee, yourself?
I'm all right. Welcome, everybody. This is our first football singular show of the season. If you have not done so, this is a bonus episode going out before the 26th. Go to Fight Net Radio on Facebook. Just type in Fight Net Radio. You'll find it on Facebook. It's the second thing in the search bar. Or go to FightNetRadio.com. Click on the Facebook link. Right pinned to the top of the page, there is a link. Join one of our last spots. Our draft is August 26th. At 8 p.m. Pacific time. I think that works for everybody, especially for Andrew, who's probably sweating his balls off on a rooftop fixing an AC unit somewhere.
Look, not all heroes wear capes, Lee. Not all heroes wear capes.
True. That is true. This time of year, he is in highest of high demand. It is football season. We do talk a lot about football. So Bobby and I decided, along with Andrew, that we were going to make football definitely a topic through the season. We're all diehard pro football fans. First and foremost, Bobby, tell me about the season for the Jets and what's it look like?
Well, you know what? This is a season that Jet fans actually are coming in with really, we're excited. Obviously, we all know who.
You sound like a Raider fan.
Yeah, it's even more pathetic being a Jets fan. It's really rough having Tom Brady at the top of your division for 1,400 years. So, coming into every season, we realize we're battling for second place in our division anyway until Tom Brady decides to retire. But this year, it's a little bit more exciting. with the addition of Le'Veon Bell, Crowder, Ryan Khalil coming out of retirement to come and play a center for us, adding C.J. Mosley, and obviously with Adams still back there. Anunwa is going to be healthy. A couple things suck. Losing Avery Williamson to a torn ACL in camp is horrible. He's a great linebacker. But overall, as a Jets fan, this is a season that even if they don't light the world on fire, they at least have the pieces where it should be an exciting season, especially with the young quarterback in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you think you guys will wind up?
I think the Jets have a legitimate shot at 10-6 this year. And I'm basing that because the Division A is pretty weak. I think that the Jets should probably beat the Dolphins twice, have a chance to beat the Bills twice. They'll probably lose to the Patriots both times. But, when you shake it all down, you look at the Jets' schedule, you could see them, if everything goes right for them, they could be 10-6 this year.
10-6. Who is the team this year from a betting perspective, from just an entertainment perspective? Who are you looking at the most this year?
I'm excited to see a couple of things this year. Obviously, I want to see how the flash and dash offense that Kingsbury is going to bring down to Arizona. I mean, they have, Murray's had some problems in the preseason, but I have to think that he'll get it together. And at the very least, that offense will be exciting. We all know that Kingsbury likes to air it out, everywhere he's been, he's thrown the ball all over the field. So that should be pretty exciting to watch down there. And your Rams, who doesn't want to watch Goff go to work? The kid's clinical. He's just a great quarterback. He's everything I look for in a quarterback. Tall, stands in the pocket, fearless, great leader. So I'm always excited to watch Goff play as well.
To end this little short episode, we're going to be putting these in constantly. We'll probably have a dedicated spot. Just go to Fight Net Radio. I'll probably even ultimately turn these into, I don't know if we're podcast worthy. There are a lot of great shows out there. I'm an around the NFL podcast guy. Probably my favorite show if anybody wants to know. I don't know if we could ever feel like they do, and they work for the NFL, and they don't seem to care that they work for the NFL, which is hilarious to me. Let's do the top 10 of the top 300 as it stands right now, especially with our draft coming up, and get Bobby's feedback. And I know he's going to have he'll talk about this one right off the bat. Number one position this year is Saquon Barkley.
Not even a question. Not even a question. When you look at everything Saquon brings to the table, we're talking about a generational talent. We're talking about Barry Sanders type player. Now that's a lofty atmosphere to be in, but we all know that if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, and he's proven that he can do that throughout his career, that this is going to be a guy that's going to break massive records, because not only does he run the ball, the guy will have 80 or 90 catches a season, and it's not even a question. He's proven it over and over how electrifying he is. He is the most dominant back when he can't find a hole. His vision is just unparalleled in the league right now. I don't think there's anyone in the league with his sort of vision. And for my money, he's the top fantasy player to pick this year, without a doubt.
Second position, Alvin Kamara.
I could see that. Yeah. Alvin Kamara, great ball player. He's the kind of guy that's in the same kind of mold as Barkley. He's going to get a lot of touches. He can catch the ball. He's going to come out of the backfield, and we all know how he's used. So he's the kind of guy I would definitely say is right up there in the discussion for that top spot.
Absolutely. And for anybody wondering, I use RotoWire like everybody else. I'm not some genius who's coming up with this list on my own. Third position, and an interesting one, and I wonder for anybody who doesn't understand why I picked our draft so late in the season, big Zeke Elliott, right? He's got a contract dispute. He's not in camp. That hasn't been rectified. They still have him listed as a number 3 on RotoWire. I think Zeke's a pass. I don't think he's good for the first 6 months of the season. Am I crazy to think that? Can he step in and be Zeke immediately?
I don't think that it's worth a top pick, obviously, with him this year because of his troubles. And to be honest with you, I've never, it's hard for me. I'm not sold on what Dallas has going on over there. So I really don't think that he's the kind of guy that I would want to take a chance on at this point. If his contract was all squared away and he had his head right and he was in camp and he was ready, of course, Zeke is one of the kind of players he's proven, year after year that he can put up the points. But I try to steer away from players like that have issues like this, because obviously you really want your players on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to seriously go back and look at Zeke from the time off from the suspension to see how long it took him to get back up to full speed to be Zeke. Certainly it took him a few weeks by my recollection. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. Especially with a guy in fourth position who I think is even more appealing in Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb's looking to have a year this year. There's no doubt about it. I liked him in college a lot. They had a stacked backfield with him and Sonny Michel at Georgia, and now that they can, they're really going to be able to open up the field more, having Beckham on the team. So they're not going to be able to put too many guys in the boxes here, and I think Chubb's going to have a field day with that. I think he's going to feast on some defenses this year.
If I were doing a psychic Bobby pick for when he plays on Monday night, I would say your number 1, if you could get him, would be Saquon. I think your number 2 will be this next guy, Le'Veon Bell. Still got enough juice in the tank?
I think Le'Veon Bell's going to have a great year. There's no doubt. I think, though, my second overall pick would be Christian McCaffrey, though. I really like McCaffrey's game a lot.
Who's right behind him in Carolina. You'd take Christian McCaffrey over Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, at this point I would. And usually I'm a homer and I take, Le'Veon Bell if it's my draft alone. But if I'm giving people advice, people listening to this podcast, I want to give them what I truly think. And I truly think that Christian McCaffrey is another world kind of player. He's proven it. Cam Newton loves throwing him the ball. He's a big part of their offense, like Saquon Barkley is with the Giants. And McCaffrey plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's that kind of kid. And he's gonna make his mark game in and game out for 17 weeks.
Okay, so here's the question. We've got a boot on your quarterback's foot in Carolina. You think they lean heavier on McCaffrey, or does that completely burn him out without having a two-back option?
You know what? I don't think he's the kind of guy that gets burnt out. He's a workhorse. He's one of these. There's certain kind of running backs, like a Curtis Martin running back, where you could give him the ball 400 times in a season, and he's going to be okay. And that's the kind of kid.
But Cam's a mobile quarterback. I mean, he's a running threat. Without two running backs in the backfield for Carolina, can their line support a straight runner?
I think that their line will be okay, and I think that McCaffrey he's going to benefit, especially if Newton misses some time. He's going to benefit. He's going to be that outlet. He'll be that valve down back. So I think that his actual touches will increase, obviously, if Newton goes out. But with Le'Veon Bell, I'm with he took a year off. I want to see how he fits into the offense. I don't know if I'm willing to jump that high with Le'Veon right this second.
With all that said, for those of you wondering, the top 7 on RotoWire are all running backs. It isn't until the 8th and 9th position that we move into 2 receivers. In your mind, who is the top wide receiver, or at least the top 2? Let's see if you can nail these before I get to them.
For my money, it would probably be DeAndre Hopkins.
That's one.
And Devontae Adams, maybe.
No, Julio Jones. Now that they've got a quarterback who can throw, Foles can get the ball to Jones.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Devontae Adams in Green Bay has a quarterback over there you might have heard of, though.
Yeah. Yes.
This guy might be okay at football.
That kind of rounds out the RotoWire top 10. The one topic that didn't even make the top 10, which is mind-boggling to me, is quarterbacks. To me, I think personally, this is the way I draft. I understand their top 300 picks and going with a big running back or a big wide receiver or a big playmaker right out of the gate. But the number one producer of points in fantasy football, in my mind, is the quarterback, and not a single quarterback made the top 10. Who, in your mind, is your number one quarterback that you're shooting for this year?
Well, if I had my druthers, it would be Mahomes.
Of course, he's number one position, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're asking me, who I think the top quarterback will be, definitely be Mahomes. But who I think is going to have a pretty good season. Not the kind of season maybe not your starting fantasy quarterback, but a guy that you want to look at later on. Josh Allen from the Bills. I think that he's been progressing nicely for the Bills. He's had a nice preseason, and obviously, not saying grab him as in your first round, but later on down the line, you need a second quarterback. I think that might be a decent option.
In second position, once again, Deshaun Watson. I rode Deshaun Watson last year. Dual threat at number 2. He's a solid fantasy football stat.
Yeah, especially with Hopkins.
Yep, I agree. Your favorite guy in the third position, how is it for Baker Mayfield this year?
Look, Baker Mayfield, this is a put up or shut up year for him. He had that great year last year. Let's see if he can continue. I think he's going to be able to continue what he started. I was really high on Mayfield coming out of college. I wanted the Jets to be in a position to draft him. They weren't able to, which I was totally fine with because we ended up with Darnold. But Mayfield, he's that next level kind of leader. I think with the team that he has and the new weapons that he has, I think that Mayfield might be on par with, the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks, no doubt. I think it might be a good place to get him if you can get him right around there.
The person who, I got to tell everybody, killed me last year in fantasy. I had sterling performances until last year because with my first pick, when I went to my quarterback, I got jobbed. I went Aaron Rodgers. He's moved all the way down to 4th position. Is there any gas left in the tank on Aaron Rodgers?
I think there is. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers until proven otherwise, let's be honest here. This guy, it's not like he's 500 years old. He's not a spring chicken, but Rodgers has showed no signs of really being broken down or somebody who can't handle the load. And I think that they got a nice thing going on down there in Green Bay right now. I think they're building something nice, and I think that he's going to have a pretty good year, to be honest with you.
Russell Wilson at position number 5. He's usually my favorite if I can get 2 quarterbacks. I do like a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson combo because of their rushing capabilities.
Oh, yeah, Russell Wilson, Mr. Steady. You know what you're getting with Russell Wilson, the consistency. He's that kind of guy.
Lowest interception ratios. He's second only to Aaron Rodgers in interception. I think everybody forgets how bad interceptions are when you do draft a quarterback in fantasy football, especially. But Russell is Russell. I mean, the dude he's as money as they get.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency.
Matt Ryan is listed at number 6. Did they not know about Foles, or are they really starting Matt Ryan before Foles in Atlanta?
Oh, no, Matt Ryan's definitely the starter down there. There's no doubt.
Really?
Yeah, Matty Ice is the guy.
Foles is tearing it up, literally, for Atlanta in the preseason, right? Did I miss those headlines? Did I miss those tapes?
Look, he's playing for the Jaguars, Foles.
Oh, Jaguars. That's why I've got it confused. I'm sorry, you're right. I thought he got moved over to Atlanta. He's having a Jaguar.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe, but did they trade him again? What the hell's going on here?
What about Matty Ryan? I mean, they were kind of a mess last year. What does Atlanta have going for it this season that will be any different? Did they somehow draft a line to protect Ryan? Did they somehow magically do something that I missed?
Well, I just think that they underperformed last year. I think that they have a lot of nice pieces on that team as is. I mean, when you have the combination of, Julio Jones, you have that man to throw to, things are pretty good when you wake up on Sunday morning and trot out onto that field. You know what I mean? So I think that Matty Ice is always a solid choice. He's definitely not the premier quarterback that I would like to draft in fantasy football, but I believe that he's definitely a solid choice if, you're going other ways. And, like the drafts have turned out, a lot of people don't draft quarterbacks till late now. You see it all the time. So it just depends on your strategy, really. But I think that he's a solid choice if he's there and you need a quarterback.
RotoWire's number 7, and I'm interested to hear your feedback. Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, that is the kind of quarterback that I would not draft, obviously, anywhere in the top half of the draft. I mean, it's somebody that I would use as a second quarterback until we've seen what, he brings to the table. Like I was saying before, the offense down there is going to be, high flying. The question is he going to be able to, run that offense correctly, and is he going to be able to convert? And in preseason, he's looked pretty shaky, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. Rounding out the bottom end, Wentz, Jackson, and Luck. Here's the interesting part, and I want to bring it up because you can argue any position for those 3 guys. I'm interested in Lamar Jackson being the starter in Baltimore. That, to me, is very interesting beyond words. I think it's a great backup. We're in a 10-team draft situation for the FightNet Radio Fantasy League. Go to fnrrocks.com. Join, get one of the last 2 or 3 positions. Andrew Luck has a calf issue. I think it'll drop his stock, and I think you can easily pick up an Andrew Luck as a backup quarterback till he gets right. Andrew Luck's numbers when he's healthy are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, he's on another level. When he's healthy, when he's right, he's one of the best quarterbacks to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Any sleepers, picks, or anything else that you want to cover from a fantasy perspective?
Yeah, there's you're talking about Jackson down there in Baltimore, and I agree with that play. But he's a running quarterback, so there's a good chance that he might get hurt at some point this season. And their backup quarterback now, believe it or not, is Trace McSorley, who was Penn State's quarterback the last few years. And in the last preseason game, he lit the world up. 2 touchdown passes, 203 yards, blah, 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 7 yards rushing. I think that, if Jackson does go down and Trace McSorley is available as a free agent, I think that's something that maybe you should jump on. Obviously, I don't think you should take up a spot now with him, but it's something later on down the road if Jackson does get hurt because of his style of play. I think that McSorley fits right in seamlessly in the same kind of player, not as dynamic on his feet, but the same kind of player as Jackson.
Last but not least, Bobby, you are our resident bookie, and it is that time of the year. I am everybody's does this every time of the year. If you are predicting who's going to win it all in the NFL, where are you dropping a C note for the big payday?
I am going with the Rams. I think that it's their year. I think that it's Goff's turn. Goff is. I think he's the guy that takes the torch from Tom Brady as that guy. That's how high I am on this guy. He is just incredibly polished for a young man, and the coaching staff there, everything that's going on in Los Angeles, I think it's just a great spot for them, and I truly think it's their year.
There you go. What are they currently betting at? Do you have any idea?
I don't have the sheet on me right now. I didn't grab one.
I'm going to look it up real fast to end this episode. Lines to win, Oddshark, our favorite website that has done so much for us over the year. The guys who run Oddshark, I don't know if they get any ad money or whatever. They probably deserve a lot more respect than they are allowed. All right, so odds to win the Super Bowl right now, the clear-cut favorite, New England Patriots, plus 700. Kansas City Chiefs, plus 800. The Saints, plus 850. Rams are plus 900 on a Bobby pick.
I love it. 9-1. I'll take that all day, every day. You hit those, you're living pretty.
That's not a bad hit on $100, right? And
really
my Chargers
not.
are plus 1,600. Man, oh man, they're hard to lay off of. They've moved so far up. Chargers
are a team that I'm looking at to upset some people this year.
Yeah, I certainly think that they could get a good run out of it. There you guys go. Go to FNR Rocks. You can find Bobby online. Just look him up, Bobby Capucci. You can find him through Fight Net Radio. You can find him through any of our channels. He joins us every once in a great while on our various platforms and pages. And as always, click subscribe. Go to fightnetradio.com. You can find multiple ways to listen to the show because we provide more stuff. I keep saying fight stuff or boxing stuff. Fight Net Radio just provides stuff. So there you go. We try to keep up on whatever entertains all of us. We appreciate all of you listening.
Fight Net Radio! FightNetRadio.com with Andrew and Lee. Talking boxing, combat, sports, comedy, football, and everything kick-ass. All on FightNetRadio.com. Fight Net!